Hi guys, I'm Ryan. I live in Cambodia, Phnom Penh, Cambodia to be exact. When I first met this city, I was like, hey, how's it going? And it was like, but then I came back and it was all,
sorry about the last time we met. I was going through some things. I was in a bad place.
and I was like, it's cool, it's cool. And then when the opportunity came up to move to Phnom Penh, I slid into its DMs and I was like, yo baby, put the kids to bed, I'm coming over. In this video, I'm going to share with you why I love living in Phnom Penh, what sets it apart from the 5 other countries I've lived in, and by the end, you're going to be packing your bags, jumping on a plane to Cambodia, and being all like,
Hey Phnom Penh, if you were a Transformer, you'd be Optimus Fine. Are you alone? Because you got my interest. Do you like Star Wars? Because Yoda won for me. If you were a vegetable, you'd be a cucumber. Are you a beaver? Because damn!
Y'all don't know people like this. 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 Y'all don't know people like this.
all right, I'm going to look it up. Phnom Penh is 679 kilometers squared. That's actually pretty big. Much bigger than I thought it would be, and it totally ruins my first point. I find Phnom Penh to be a pretty small city. Actually, if you compare it to its neighbors' capitals, Bangkok and Ho Chi Minh City, you'll see it's way smaller than those two. While the city is growing fast, the central part of it, the parts that you'll actually want to go to, are all pretty close. To me, it has a small town feel to it. I'm constantly being surprised by how close things are. I would say you wouldn't have to travel more than 5 kilometers to get pretty much anywhere you'd want to go in the city. Population of the city is around 2.3 million people. The population density is about 3,500 people per square kilometer. That's 1,000 less people per square kilometer than Ho Chi Minh City and 2,000 less people per square kilometer than Bangkok. So it's a little less crowded than those cities. I love that it has all the amenities of a big capital city. Basically anything that comes into Cambodia, I can probably get within 5 square kilometers of where I live. And yet it doesn't feel like this big metropolis that I'll just never have a connection with. It's just too big to really get to know. So I'm one of those people that can live pretty cheap almost anywhere. Just give me an internet connection and cover me with some old hay and I'll be fine. I can't really say that it's cheaper to live in Cambodia than the previous places I've lived, Ecuador, China, and Vietnam. I would say it's probably around the same, but I find I can get the best of the best. High-end services, luxury hotels, fine dining for cheaper than I would in the other places I lived. You can't necessarily live cheaper, but I think you can live a better life for cheaper here. We live in BKK1, which is the most expensive neighborhood to live in Phnom Penh. There probably aren't that many capital cities out there where I can afford to live in the finest area, let alone in a service department with a pool. We recently spent Valentine's Day at a hotel just about 10 minutes down the street from our apartment, and it was $100 a night, which is way more than we normally spend on a hotel, but we had a private plunge pool. The hotel was really beautiful. Little luxuries like this we can afford to do just for a special occasion. All you can eat steak dinner for $10, a 60-minute massage at the fanciest spa for $30, a day pass at the country club for $12, or just grab a beer on a rooftop patio for $3 and watch the sunset. Having lived in 5 different foreign countries, when it comes to expat living, I'd have to say I have it down expat. Over the years, I have experienced some discontent from the locals, and I get it. I kind of expected a little bit. You're getting things that the locals can only dream about just because you were born in a different place. You're expecting them to speak English and you don't seem to be making any attempt to speak the local language. You're stealing their women. Maybe all expats are douchebags.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Now, I'm fully aware of the potential for douchery. I'm constantly reminding myself that I am a guest in this country, so I think I probably get less resentment than some of the douche rockets out there. There are people who are out there rocketing around, spreading douche everywhere, and I imagine those people experience a little bit more resentment from the locals than I do. But to be honest, I haven't heard any stories or I haven't experienced any hatred from the locals at all. I am always greeted with a big welcoming smile. There's people who play bocce ball down in the field here, and I'm sitting in my living room and I can just hear them laughing their asses off. One guy especially just cackling away. Maybe he's getting tickled, I don't know. But my point is the locals are great. They welcome you into their country. You don't feel as separated from them. Expats are kind of a part of the culture in Cambodia now, so it makes it easier for the country to feel like home for you. She's so proud. Food, food, food. I love food. Eat the food. Yum, yum, yum. Kiss the meal. Hug that soup. Burn my nipples. What the hell, soup? Would you do that to my nipples for? Food is pretty important to me. I eat it to stay alive. I also get joy from it. More joy than you get from your child. Khmer food isn't that well known, not like Thai food and Vietnamese food, but the fact is they use a lot of the same flavors and they even have some of the same dishes. For example, Koi Tiev is a rice noodle soup, garlicky broth, proteins like pork and shrimp in it, and it's really popular for breakfast here. When I lived in Vietnam, it was also super popular. There they called it Hue Tu Nam Vang, which basically means Phnom Penh noodles. So it's a dish that originated in Cambodia and got popular in Vietnam. And of course you can find legitimate Vietnamese food here, Thai food, Malaysian food, Chinese food, pretty much any food from any country. Cambodia's laws about foreign-owned businesses are pretty relaxed, so a lot of people came here and they opened restaurants. I actually have a free guide that I'll link to in the description below. It contains 22 different restaurants in Phnom Penh that serve up 22 different types of food from around the world. And these are just places that I've eaten at, so make sure you save the list and I'll be updating it as I discover more food in the city.
Is this the most fun you have at your job?
You guys know me, I'm easy. What's that? You want to use my toothbrush to scrub your pits? Yeah, go ahead. No problem. Phnom Penh is an easy place to live. Of course, there are some things here that make it a little bit difficult, which I'll probably cover in a future video. But overall, it's an easy life here. English is more widely spoken than other Asian countries.
Perfect. Big and big bowl. Yes. Okay.
There are all kinds of apps that you can use to make life easier here. You can get an ABA bank account and use your phone to pay for everything. There are a bunch of food delivery apps and ride-hailing apps, and they're all in English. You can get your groceries delivered to you. Okay. Thank you very much. Is this you calling me? The service departments all come with either once or twice a week cleaning. If you want some freedom on the road, you can buy a scooter that's 125 cc's or less, and you don't even need a license to ride it. There are a lot of expats here, so there's a lot of support from other expats on Facebook groups. And there are a lot of events. There's like hipster markets, there's a film festival going on right now, a European film festival. There's concerts, comedy, stand-up comedy shows, organized sports like crazy. Actually, our balcony over here overlooks a sports field. It used to, they're building something on there now, but we would sit out here and watch, and there'd be people playing soccer, rugby, ultimate frisbee, even Australian rules football, which I believe is the same as regular football except they use a boomerang. Well, I do love having that expat bubble all set up for me, ready for me to eat bread in. The reason I'm in Southeast Asia is because I love the culture. I love the excitement that comes with living in Southeast Asia. And of course you can still get that here. Cambodia is a stimulating place to live. There's always something puzzling going on. I actually just recently started another YouTube channel that you should be watching. It's very different from this one. I don't ramble on like an obnoxious idiot. Without talking, I just go for a walk in a neighborhood and get some street food and just show you what local life is like in Cambodia. And of course, I'm always coming across things that make me go, please check out that channel, subscribe to it. There'll be a link in the description below for it. And that's it. Take care, comb your hair. I'm done here.
Prefer when I'm by myself. I don't wanna hang around y'all. Pray for good health. One day I'm really gon' ball. Fuck around and buy the whole mall. Breaking that cake. Flexing 700